Brian, if you had to make a choice between wearing a mid or a croc, what would you do?
Oh man.
Welcome to the Dad's Got Kicks podcast. I'm your host, Efren, and I know what you're saying right now, that, hey, where is that handsome dude, Esteban? I'm sorry he's not here today for this episode, but we do have familiar faces and voices on this pod. I want to give a shout out to Josh and Brian. Josh and Brian, what's up?
What up?
What's going on? Hey, I heard S is actually trying to find a pair of Jeremy Scott's. He's trying to track down another one of his wings.
Yikes.
For the collection. That's what I heard he's doing right now.
Well, I hope that if he gets them, that he wears them on the court for our 3-on-3 Dad's Got Kicks basketball showdown this summer. So Stay tuned for that. Brian, we're going to work on getting you on board with the Splash Uncles. We'll work.
Oh yeah, I'm a shooter. I
think we have our three right here, right now, right?
That's right.
I think we would do damage. Those other guys are soft, man. No, Nick doesn't even know what the paint is. He's never sniffed the paint. He sits behind the 3-point line. So
That's right. We also have with us our first time return guest, 215shooter, Jerome. Welcome back. Speaking of that basketball 3-on-3 showdown, you can come down and record some of the follies because there's going to be tons of Shaqtin' the Fool going on. But
I can see some pretty awesome reels coming along.
You know what? You might lose some followers. Actually, that might not be a good idea.
Yeah, don't post that on your socials.
You know what?
For sure.
I'll just do it for the culture.
Okay. But how you doing? What have you been up to?
Just living. You know, was the pandemic going on the last time we talked?
It was. I think so.
Yes. Right? Feels like a long time ago.
Yeah. It definitely does. But you know, I'm alive, so I can't complain. Just being the usual Jerome 215 shooter, just enjoying family and staying out the way.
Well, we're huge fans of the content that you create, man. And it's just a unique perspective and a unique brand that you bring into the culture.
Yes.
You got any projects coming up? Like, what can we get excited about? What's on the horizon?
So I can't really drop any brand names, but if anybody's been like paying attention to the social, I've been kind of voicing lately that there's a lot of projects that's been happening, and it's only March. So a lot of brand contracts and projects have been going on. So at this point, I'm just looking at it like it's nothing but up from here.
That's awesome, man. To be honest, I love just your critical commentary on the culture as a whole, on content creation. Man, your voice in that space has been refreshing. Like what's been driving that for you?
Just like sitting back, you know how especially with social media, it's like nobody wants to be authentic. It's rather just patting the next person on the back and just trying to be down. And I'm just like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm critical with my friends. I'm like, look, if it's something dope, I'll tell you it's dope.
That's a good friend.
You know, like
you're a good friend.
Right. Exactly. And I'm like, I don't want to lead you astray, because I know at one point when I wasn't at the talent that I'm at now, you know, people are, oh, that's awesome, it's dope. And I'm looking back now, I'm like, it was trash. Like, why would you tell me that? Like, why would you lie to me? Like, you know, and then it's a joke now, but in all seriousness, it's just like, hey, like, if you can't be honest with people and tell it like it is, then they can't grow as a person.
That's good.
That's so true.
Yeah, that's dope. But I think too, like, I think as the creator, man, like we are, you know what I'm saying, like more critical over the content than other people, because they can't see, you know what I'm saying, like what we see. Like that's what, you know what I'm saying, like makes us those creators where it's just like, yo, we're constantly growing. We constantly trying to meet that you know what I'm saying, like that peak that we have, or that satisfaction that we have. Because, you know, if we never put anything out or practice in public, like there would be no content. You know what I'm saying? So granted, that's a sign of greatness in you that's not, you know what I'm saying, satisfied with what you put out. But I go through the same thing. Like when I look at my old stuff, I was like, yo, that was trash. I can't believe people like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe that went mini viral to a certain extent. But it's just that same thing, man. We got to have a starting point somewhere. But
yeah, like, you know, you look and you see where you came from and where you're at now, and you're just like, wow. You see the growth firsthand because you're your hardest critic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's good. But I was even thinking the other day, I was like just swiping through reels on Instagram, and literally it was the same reel over and over and over and over and over again.
Man.
And I feel like content creators right now are actually scouring those places to get their ideas instead of, you know, creating fresh ideas and putting those out. You know, what's that been like for you? I mean, how does your process work? Like, where do you generate those ideas from, and where do you have to be to kind of like to feel the most creative?
Good question.
Honestly, around my kids,
Great
they
answer.
just give me the inspiration to create. Like anybody that like was with me from the beginning, they know like when I started out, it was literally just I always push family, 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 family.
Mm.
So it's like, to your point, yeah, you know, you look at the reels or the TikToks, whatever the case may be, and it's like monkey see, monkey do, or how can you just add a slight twist on something someone else did? And that's cool if you can take it to that next level, and especially, you know, giving homage to where you got it from instead of, you know, taking it as your own. But with me, it's just, I'm like, hey, you know, everyone's focused on themselves and trying to be the next it. And I'm just like, I'm comfortable where I'm at. I'm just going to have fun with my kids, and I'm going to showcase it with the world. And like the received feedback on that is just always awesome. Like, oh, like, you know, like, I love how you're so family oriented. You know, you got your kids out here doing this and that. So just enjoy it.
Yep. As my kid is screaming in the background, I don't know if you caught that, but I'll keep it.
I probably
Keep it
couldn't
in
hear
there.
it over my kids. So
Yeah.
I was just about to say,
Fair
I can hear
enough.
mine too. I was trying to figure out whose kids were screaming.
Yeah. Let's talk about sneakers.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Everyone knows that explaining sneakers to people in the sneaker community, that's a piece of cake. But for people that are outside of this community, for people that are not involved in the sneaker culture, that's a different territory. Like people who collect paintings or cards or coins, they don't understand the nuance of collecting sneakers the way that we do. So my question is, are sneakers an investment to you guys? Collecting them, but understanding the value behind it. Josh, go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can. I'm the host today.
You are. Dang it. S, come back. You never do
I like
that.
this power.
Yeah, Efren's wielding a lot of power now. Hey man, it comes with a lot of responsibility on the pod too. Okay. Honestly, I think sneakers are an investment, but I think it depends on what you see that investment doing. For me, I've always looked at sneakers as a passion first, and then understood the investment in something along the lines of, well, if I have a pair and I need to pay a bill, I can let the pair go to pay the bill. The
Right.
bill is more important. Taking care of my family is more important
Mhm.
than the sneaker at the end of the day. So for me, that is an investment in that sense. But I don't think I've ever seen it as an investment like, oh, this is a get rich kind of
Mhm.
quick scheme. That's
Okay.
not something that's in my vernacular when it comes to sneaker investing.
So that brings up a follow-up question, and we're going to stick with you, Josh, because I said so. Is the sneaker investing help or hurt sneaker culture and the wider general acceptance of sneakers as a legitimate commodity?
Gosh, I'm not the
And-
host, so I can't
and-
pass this question on to Jerome or to Brian. Can't pass. To me, I think it hurts it. I think it
Okay.
hurts the culture. I think in the sense that people see it now. I think most people now see sneaker investing as, I don't even like sneakers. I just like profit. And so my driver is actually making money more than anything else. And what people do is they collect a few just to legitimize what they're doing. Like, oh yeah, you can trust me because I like sneakers too, and I sell sneakers. So it sometimes, I think, brings this like legitimacy to the person who's trying to really just gain from it personally. And not just as like a legit business, but I think people who are driven by that first. So to me, I think it pollutes it a little bit, where like there's a lot of guys that couldn't even tell you the history of a sneaker, but they can tell you how much it's worth right now.
Yeah. Right. All right, Jerome, you're up.
So I feel like, to piggyback off of that, it is definitely an investment, but it depends on where you place that investment. Is it secondary or primary? So for me, it's secondary. I have the passion, but I'm also not ignorant to understand the value that they hold. To the point, you know, I think I told you guys before, like, you know, I got rid of my entire collection to get a current house. Didn't bat an eye, but it was well worth it. And then now understanding that now it's an investment for my children. I know what I have down the road if they ever get into a jam. they can say, hey, you know, dad's shoes got to go, and they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But as far as it affecting the culture, I feel like it's in the right now, I feel like it doesn't hinder it, but so much, because like the reselling and the stuff, it kind of helps, especially when you can't get certain things. Like I know a lot of us work, and you know, we're missing on the sneakers or the, you know, the different raffle drops and stuff like that. We're missing on them, and as the passion continues, we still want them, so we're able to get them. Of course, the price isn't always pleasant and something that we may want to do, but it's an option. Whereas though we could not have the option of, if people were just getting them to wear them, if everyone was doing that, then unfortunately you won't have them if everyone's wearing them that actually got the pair, if you missed out because you were at work. But in the long run, I feel like it does hinder, because especially the younger generation, they're just looking at it now as like, hey, it's money to be made. Let's go make this money, which again is okay. Never pocket watch, want to go over what people are doing with their own money. But on the same note, it's just like, hey, this is something that we've all invested into as far as the culture as a whole, to even understanding how being a sneakerhead wasn't even a cool thing at one point. Like being called a sneakerhead was a kind of being belittled. Like, oh, like you collect sneakers, like who does that? You know, it's like, okay, you collect cards, you collect coins, you collect sports cards, like same difference, but no one looks at it that way. Even to now, people just don't look at it that way. It's the same exact thing, but we got ways to go. But I feel like in the future, it's more of a hindrance. In the right now, it could be looked at either way.
Yeah. That whole thing, like being called a something head, like gearhead, sneakerhead, butthead. It's never a good connotation. Go ahead, Brian.
Nah, man. So even with Jerome was talking about, like when I was younger, like the insult, the biggest insult I got was from my dad, right? So like being that when I came up, I wanted to design sneakers, and so I appreciated the actual art that went into the shoe. So like for me, like my dad called me. He was like, "Would you have a sneaker fetish?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, what are you talking about? And I didn't even know what a fetish was. I was like, "This sneaker fetish," but at the same time, like now, I think the investment part is the bonus, which makes us kind of look a little bit smarter than like I'm materialistic when it comes to these shoes, right? So when you mature, you're like the same thing that everybody has said who's been on this podcast, which I'm so happy to hear. Like as fathers, like there's a switch that flips on where it's like, yo, by any means necessary, I'm going to take care of my family and I'm going to be selfless. While we were going through a hard time in our household and I'm trying to provide for my family, like I sold like most of my collection. I'm in it because I love it, and I'll let go. I'll let go of something because I need to let go of something, not because, you know what I'm saying, like I want to profit, I want to gain off of this. So like that adjustment of like understanding like, yeah, what we love has become commercialized, but it's still not going to destroy my love. Like, you know, it's a whole ecosystem. Like even from my collection, like if I want a shoe, like I'm going to sell like maybe 2 shoes to get the shoe that I actually want at resale. So you just gotta, you know what I'm saying, be wise with your spending.
Well, all of our wives watch the podcast or listen to it, so we can never say what the most we ever spent on a sneaker was, because they might get real upset, you know? So you just gotta watch what you say.
We'll just edit it out. It's fine. It's fine.
But Brian, as you were saying that, I was also thinking, like there's a certain like stigma with sneakers that it's irresponsible collecting. And I never understood that, because people will see people who collect art or collect coins, and yeah, there's some value to it, but at the end of the day, they're just collecting stuff to like complete a set, or because it means something, or there's something in it for them. And they just have like that, I don't know, like that natural propensity to want to like hoard or collect something special. And I think for sneakers, for me at least, it's always been seen as, oh, you're one of those sneakerheads. They're like, you're one, like, what's different about us collecting sneakers than someone who's collecting something else? I don't really think there's anything. It's a passion for it. And for most of us, it's an understanding that like it helps us connect back to certain events in our lives, or things that are meaningful for certain reasons, or times that either like, you know, were hard, times that were good, whatever it is, it's a connection back, you know what I mean? Almost like a time machine. And then also there's artistic value in it. And there's just, I think, a special community that's developed around people who can talk that, you know, that language, that speak that shoe language with you, you know, it's the connection. But I think sometimes that gets overlooked as it being like, I don't know, immature it's like an immature thing. Like you'll grow out of it, or why didn't you grow out of that, or why do you love
Right.
sneakers? You know, you're
Right.
over 30 now. Like what? Why you have kids? Why? And I just don't understand where that's coming from. You know?
Yeah. You know, the passion and the interest in something is always relative to the person or to the group that understands it. The people that collect cards aren't going to see collecting coins the same way, or, you know, pick and choose different things, right? With different groups of people. So how I view it is I love sneakers and they just so happen to have this insane value to them attached to it. I'm not in the passion for the value of the sneaker. I'm more about the story and about the silhouette and what those things generate in my mind for memory, or, you know, seeing Jordan wear them while he was playing, those types of things. And it just so happens that they're reselling for insane amounts of money. But that's always been an afterthought to me. So, and also the term sneakerhead, the definition's misguided, but just because they have an involvement around sneakers, that suddenly that's what a sneakerhead is. And that's my understanding in limited scope. And so a lot of those types of things get twisted, which further makes the term sneakerhead all the more negative.
Well, what's worse now, sneakerhead or hype beast?
Oh,
Hypebeasts has been.
Hypebeasts
Hypebeasts is not even close to sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Like Hypebeasts is somebody who just like, oh, this drop, this is what's going to make me cool. Like a sneakerhead is somebody who just, I don't know. I interrupted you, Jerome, on that one, but
yeah, I had a conversation with somebody about this because they literally was like, oh, you know, oh, you're a hype beast because you have all white shoes, like as a reference to myself. And I'm just like,
that makes no sense.
What? Yeah, I'm just like, wait, what? I'm like, well, you know, I'm like, that's what I like. They're like, oh, well, no, that's all you have. I'm like, well, I'm like, bro, I'm about to be 36. Like, I was born in the Jordan era. I'm like, this is what I like, and Air Maxes and stuff like that. I'm like, I have basic stuff, but I'm like, social media is my platform to put things out there. I'm like, I don't want to shoot my basic blazers. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put that on social media. I'm like, that don't mean I don't have it. That just means I just don't want to take a picture of it. And it's like the term hype beast, I feel like it's formulated to where if anyone, as far as the masses, like us that has the basic understanding, we'll say, okay, somebody's a hype beast to, I feel like, the term where it was meant to be. Like you just said, Brian, like the person that's just like, oh, you know, this is out. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it with no cares just because it's new. But on the same note, we also know legit sneakerheads, quote unquote, that are the same way. Like, oh, like, you know, it's a new J out. I need to have it for my collection or whatever the case may be, that would just literally buy any and everything. And I feel like today's like culture, they have formulated all these words and phrases that we used and kind of skewed it to their own benefit, to the point where, like you were just saying, that like nothing means what it actually means.
Yeah. Well, there's almost like this fracture in the sneaker culture where it's almost like this like cannibalistic thing where depending if you're like the OG type or you're new to the game, or depending on what type of sneakers you like to add to your collection, it's almost like the community turning on the community in a little bit, where it's like if you go after something like an Off-White, oh, you're a hype beast. I stick to this. I only do OG colorways. That's it. I don't buy anything. Or if you like Air Maxes, you know, there's another
Jordan is only 1 through 14 Jordans.
Exactly. But it's almost like sneaker. Yeah, exactly. But it's like sneakerheads turn on other sneakerheads to tell them how to be a sneakerhead. When obviously, like, can't we all just enjoy wearing what we want to wear? And I feel like that's what people say. But I also feel like personally, we probably all lean in a certain direction and bring that bias into other situations where we see people doing stuff that's not in perfect alignment with the way we see sneakers.
Bro, on that note, I have to say, even though we play about mids, like if you like mids, wear mids. But I'm just saying from a fashion standpoint, if you're trying to, you know what I'm saying, complete a look in the summertime, maybe you can get away with it. If your wife wants mids or your kids want mids, go ahead. But for you as a grown man, the way it fits on your jeans, trust me, you don't want that for a fit. But well, at the same time, like,
we just got our thumbnail on YouTube. BBSketch endorses mids.
I'm just saying. And then even in the comments, people were talking about like basketball performance shoes for mids. Like, no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Jordan 1s, not like you know what I'm saying? Not LeBrons or whatever. Like Jordan mid ones just aren't not it. Like they're not it right now. Like maybe somebody come along, make that tongue a little bit longer, make it, you know, the aesthetic look good. But like as you know, from the aesthetic, like it's different. But yeah, where would you want to wear?
Except mids.
Bro.
Is that what you've been saying?
Except mids.
It's like
they're just off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay.
It's crazy that you say that, bro, because like I bag on mids all the time. Like I hold no remorse. Like I'm just like, I don't care what you got to say, how you feel about it. Just mids is not it. But on the same note, that was me. That was growing up. Like from my era of the culture, it was literally, hey, mids ain't it. But of course, you know, getting older, it's like, hey, like in all, where would you want? If you want to wear mids, whatever the case may be, like that's fine. Like it's all in good. It's like, you know, all in good faith and jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But on the same note,
it's like we're not grown men. I'm not going to check your, like I'm not going to tell you to pull your jeans up so I can make sure that they're mids. Like if they're, you know what I'm saying, like that type of thing.
Yeah,
you can tell by the materials.
You will.
You don't need to pull up the.
Oh man, bro.
Yeah, you know, that's just what it is, man. But it's crazy. Like times are changing. We older. We kind of getting with the times. But anyone listening, 2021, mids ain't the move. Sorry.
You heard it here.
Oh, but let me tell you. So Jay, would you let your wife? Granted, from what I hear, that she has her own style, but like, if she wanted some mids, would you object to that? Would you fund, you know what I'm saying, like that expense, or would you, you know what I'm saying, like you feel like that's acceptable for women and children?
It's like it's acceptable for women and children, definitely, just not the women and children in my household.
He asked. He basically
no,
asked.
Seriously though,
Jerome, would you be an enabler? That was his?
I would not be an enabler. If she came home with a box with mids, I would send her to the glue.
Listen,
she would have.
Well, Josh has mids. Josh has mids. So just putting it out there.
Yo, I have a few pairs. Efren does too.
Pair of mids too.
But they're literally like just beater type stuff. I mean, honestly, I'll probably pass them down to my kid. They're almost like test subjects for giving pairs of my collection to my son at some point.
So Josh, how many pairs do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that on the podcast.
Probably 10, right?
10, 15 maybe.
So 10 to 15, they're probably like $80. 80 times 10. You wasted 80 times 10 on a pair of, you know what I'm saying?
No, oh wait, no, I don't have 10 pairs of mids, bro. No, not even close.
Okay.
I thought you meant overall. I was like, I'm not saying that on the podcast.
No, I was talking about mids.
No, mids, I think I have 3 pair. I have the Royals, but I have the high Royals as well. So I got both. I have the breads, if you want to call them that, with the red eyelet. Not cool. And then I got the black toes.
Bro, if Jordan Brand gives me a collab, I'm going to make mids great. Like I'll find a way to make them cool, and then those mids in your collection will have some value, and you could sell them, and then get the shoes that are actually hot.
So should we thank you now, or
thank him in advance? No, but how are you gonna do that, Brian? Are you just gonna add an inch?
Bro, I'm telling you, I would add length to the tongue. Like if you add length to the tongue, do something special with that, and then that way it actually looks a little bit better when you wear jeans. Like I think that's all they need. And if y'all see this, if y'all see it happen before I get a collab, like, or if I ever don't get a collab and you see that happen, then you know that they copied off of me with that idea. That's all you need to do is just stand in tongue.
It's in the archives.
Speaking of ideas and copyrights and all of that stuff, let's move over to something a little more serious, and that's this whole talk about NFTs. You guys familiar with this stuff? NFTs. So if you don't know what they stand for, it's non-fungible tokens, which is a fun term to say. It's a economics phrase, right? Fungible, non-fungible.
Sounds like a mushroom, a type of mushroom or something.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
exactly. Right. NFTs. Let's talk about this for a little bit. Brian, we'll start with you.
Yeah. So I learned that a lot of stuff like this is like we just have to, like, we don't determine what is the, you know, that thing now, right? Even though I don't agree with it, I don't understand it. I think that digital content has already been there. I don't understand why now it's being like, yo, I sell digital art on a regular basis, right?
All right.
So
Yeah.
like I create artwork and people, they want me to draw something that is digital and only exists in the digital realm so that they can post it online for social media or whatever, right? If you want to call that an NFT, then that me and other artists that are digital artists have been doing this for forever. But now with cryptocurrency, it's almost like a different kind of like white flight to a certain extent, right? So it's just like folks who have been trying to secure their cryptocurrency and get more value in this realm outside of what everybody else is not on yet or not aware of. Like they've probably been doing this stuff behind the scenes and you know what I'm saying, like on the dark web to a certain extent. So now it's become more commercialized with obtaining assets and accumulating wealth in a realm that people don't even know about yet. So now my job as a content creator is to educate myself so that I can accumulate wealth for myself and not be left in the dark and then fall in line with it. So being that I've already been doing this, it's like, all right, so how do I convert this so that it is this now? You know, so that like I don't agree with it. I don't understand it. I think it's like to buy digital sneakers and digital objects. I think it's funny, but I think that's the world that we're in and we have to fall in line with it. Like, it's just weird, man. But again, like it's not going to be weird a year from now. And it's going to be something that we're probably all going to fall in line with and cater to or purchase or appreciate. But yeah, man.
So I wasn't too familiar with it at one point, and I had someone explain it to me. And I'm not sure if you guys like saw the movie. They said the best way to explain like where it's headed is what's that movie? Ready Player One. And pretty much that's the end game. So whereas though they feel as though we as people are going to be relying more on pretty much, you know, coming home and throwing on a VR AR headset and just going to another quote unquote world as far as in the augmented reality. And then that's why they want to have these digital pictures and these digital sneakers. So that way you can be able to dress your avatar and all this stuff like that. And pretty much that's the end game. But as far as it tying to us, like Brian was saying, like it's kind of weird because like when I used to do like graphic design and just even doing like digital prints when people didn't want the physical thing, it's like, oh, okay, cool. So you doing what's always been done and calling it a different name. Like, oh, okay, all right, great. Like, okay, like, hey, if it works for you, obviously it did. It's what's really popular right now. I think it's something that can be dope, but I know who I am and how I am. I need to have tangible things. I need to actually have it, even though I will get with the times because I refuse to be one of those people that's like, oh, you know, I'm not doing that. Like I might get with it and be left behind, like Brian said.
Right.
Refuse to do that. But all in all, I'm not a huge fan of it. I feel like some things people need to physically have. Like that's what makes us human.
Josh.
Hold on.
Brian.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
But no, it makes me think of like CDs and DVDs. Like my wife was working for Apple, right? And she let me know about the cloud that Apple has and like buying DVDs and putting it in the cloud. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But fast forward to
what are
like
you doing?
4 years. Yeah,
right.
I'm buying digital videos in the cloud. And I'm like, yo, no, I need the DVD. So it's the same concept, man, where it's just like, yo, we're constantly having to evolve and we will adjust. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Josh.
No, that's a great point. I think kind of piggyback off what the both you guys said. I guess I'm just not sure I'm comfortable with where it's leading. There's nothing wrong with I think what it is. It's just like I feel like we're already a culture where like we're glued to things in our hand all day, or we're glued to screens, or you know, I'm fighting with my kids about how much screen time they have or how much time they've been playing video games. And to create an actual like virtual world where people can quote unquote escape or come home and relax in it. Like I'm a little bit worried that the tangible will completely fade away. And then it's kind of like what's real and what's not real. I know it's kind of now we're getting next level, like scary. It's like, what does that kind of world look like? It feels like we're watching an episode of What's that show?
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror, yeah, like an episode of Black Mirror where they kind of tackle some of that, like, hey, years in the future, the world could be like this. And I'm just not sure that's like a world that I'm like super excited to see.
Right.
Is it weird to say?
No.
No,
Bro,
no,
I think it's
not at all.
it's been happening. Like even with NBA 2K, when it got to the point where it's just like, yo, why I'm going to make this my player go to the gym and I don't even go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, why I'm going to pay for clothes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and I need clothes. Like, why I'm going to put virtual currency? Like, but eventually I ended up paying. I ended up doing it. Same thing with Fortnite skins and all that for my kids. I was like, yo, bro, like you spending $80 on a game for some skins. But
when
like
you could
now,
buy mids.
but now
true.
it's like I understand it. Like now I'm falling in line because I'm like, oh, I get it. The way they dance on that was amusing. Like that's worth, you know what I'm saying, spending
Stop
500
No.
V-bucks
No.
on that. Like
No,
like,
it's not.
It's all, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Like it's been happening behind the scenes. Now it's getting to the adults, right?
Well, where do you measure? Where do you derive the value though of that stuff? A lot of the speculation around this NFT stuff has been like stuff that doesn't seem worthy of that type of money is generating that type of revenue because it's I don't know, it's attracting like a certain person who is determining the value based on how much they like it. I mean, a lot of these things, it's not even like a bidding war. It's just like, oh, someone who wants someone's tweet because they're obsessed with it is going to buy it.
The value is based on how much other people want that thing or want that non-tangible thing. That's what it is.
But to Brian's bringing a call back to what Brian said about his dad asking him if the sneaker thing was you have a sneaker fetish. A question becomes is like NFTs like a market where it's like a bunch of like fetish type individuals who have a certain eye for something and they're willing to have that digitally or virtually. And I don't say that word in a bad way. It's just people who, let's just say, love mids and they want to copy as many digital mids as they can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel like they're targeting certain
with the digital mids.
Yeah,
oh, man.
But bro, there's so all right. So I'm all right. So as an artist, like I had to learn. Like there's a team that I'm developing, right? And they have informed me of the levels of this NFT world, right? Folks who make this amount do this, right? So, so our perception of actually what's happening is only a little piece. There's folks who like, if you want to make this amount, then you have to come up with a digital asset, a physical asset, and it's like another third tier. It's another aspect to it, right? So I'm planning on doing something. I'm going to provide a digital asset. So when you buy this digital augmented reality thing, like you can have it and you can share with your friends and be like, oh, this is cool, right? So you take your phone out and there's a digital thing right in front of you and you can show all your friends and family. That's the cool fact. But then there's a physical aspect. Not only, let's say I design a shoe, right? Now I had this shoe designed, but you bought the digital aspect, which also comes with the physical thing. So now you have it in your house. And then the third thing is probably like a print of it or whatever. So there's so many different levels to it that there are folks that are just spending money, that cryptocurrency, hoping to accumulate wealth based off of it. But then there's people who find things that was like, yo, that is actually cool. And you know what I'm saying? They spend the money on it. So there's a mixture. It's the same thing with like the sneaker world that we have. Like I'm going to buy Off-White. I hope I hit on the Nike app because I know I can resell this for this when they don't even care about the shoe. So you have people with the mad dash of trying to make money and invest because they have that income that they're, willing to give up. Same thing with sports cards. Like the world of sports cards are, it's crazy how much money they drop over there. So
I like that though, Brian, that you're kind of mixing both worlds in there. And then you're also like, you don't have to turn on a screen to show that you own something, that you could actually present something else that you physically gave to them as a proof of ownership, right? But you still, I just don't see how something like that exists in this place that I can't go to physically.
Well, not only that, Efren, but how do you protect the understanding that it is a one of one? I remember watching some like baseball card documentaries where some of those companies sold cards on the premise that they were limited. And then years later, they found out that the truth was they had overprinted those and they were basically common. Like everybody had.
Are you talking about the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card by chance?
That's one of them, right? But I think I can't remember the company, if it was Topps or Don Russ or maybe it was all of them. But
It's
they
Upper Deck.
basically created demand based on saying these were limited, and then they overprinted the cards, making everyone think what they were worth was something higher than they really were.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the question I have with NFTs is how do you ensure that it is really a one of one that you're getting, especially when you're dropping the kind of coin that people are dropping to acquire those type of assets.
Yeah, I think they said that they were supposed to have it like a digital signature on it,
Right.
where if you buy like, let's say, a one of one painting that's NFT, it would show the digital footprint of who created it and who it was sold to.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like backtrack to who and where. So it's like if it came from Brian and you're like, hey, okay, this is his one of one. He said it's one of one. There should be absolutely no other pieces that originated from him out there in the marketplace.
So that's like the blockchain element of being able to track the origin and then determining it's not that.
Like
asking you guys a question. Asking you guys a question. Sneakerheads, this is a real practical one. Let's say, like we all did, you miss out on the trophy room, the freeze outs, whatever. Is it a consolation to go and cop an augmented reality or an NFT type sneaker as like a second place consolation prize?
I'll buy mids before I buy a sneaker NFT.
There you go.
Come on.
There you go.
Same. Same. I'd rather just draw it and get it out of my system, and then that's it. Like most of the, like even with that, like I don't know, man. Like some of those shoes, like when you see the resale value, that makes me not even want it anymore. Like that's the part that like I don't know. That's a part of the game that's just like, yo, never mind. Like if it's almost like if you see a whole bunch of people flock to it, and you just like, nah, I'm not trying to do that thing. But there's some people who would do that just to get a piece of it. So
did you want it before everyone wanted it? That should be a question every sneakerhead asks.
I feel like that's the way of old. That's the way of old thinking. That's how we all used to be like, yo, like I need these. And then as soon as you see a bunch of people wanting, like, I'm good now. Like I don't want to look like everyone else. Like I'll pass. No matter how bad you wanted them, once you saw a certain amount of people with them, you were like, all right, I changed my mind. Like I'm good. I don't want to look like everyone else.
Yeah.
But bro, I tell you this though, a technique that I use sometimes. If I really still like them, like for instance, like I'm gonna get those. Well, all right. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna wait. I'm a wait, right? So when I buy them,
I was excited for a second.
I know
what you're getting.
Well, but nah, man. So what I'll do, like, if a shoe is oversaturated, like I'll hold on to it and I won't wear them, and I'll wait till everybody else tears them up or forgets about them, then I pull them out. So like, rarely does that happen, but like when it does, like even with the Concords, like I know everybody like those. I know the anniversary Jordan 11s, everybody's gonna be wearing them or whatever, right? So I'll just hold them on ice. Like I'll keep them out until, you know what I'm saying? Like people forget about them. Like, oh, so I don't know. That's the way I play. Like those are games that I play for me that satisfy me. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a part of the game for me.
That's a good strategy.
But it does come back to bite you in the butt when you hold on to them too long and then they drop a retro and it's like, all right. Like I just lost.
That was my mistake.
Yeah.
That was my mistake growing up, man. Like, oh, these are never retro. Like, put them on ice. And I think, what did I do that with? Columbia 11s had the OGs. And I'm like, oh, these are never going to retro. Like, wore them once, put them back in. The year I decided to bring them out, pictures started circulating with the new rendition of it. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding,
bastard.
And you just tell people you got them early.
Right.
Yeah, mine, they were all yellow.
Yeah, that's what
that's not how they supposed to look. I'm like, yeah, they are.
They're seasoned.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well seasoned.
That's right. You guys collect anything else other than sneakers?
That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, sports cards, anime figures, books, and pins. I like to throw pins on my beanies and snapbacks and jean jackets and all that good stuff.
Crocs? Put pins on your Crocs?
No.
Oh, those are called gibbets, aren't they?
We were
another
walking around at the outlets, and there's a Crocs store in the outlets by us, Josh.
Yeah.
There was a line to get in the Crocs outlet store. We're walking by it. We're like, what is happening in there?
Bro, that's why I can't get down with them Yeezy dinosaur head joints. Them dinosaur fossils, like those are Crocs.
Wait, the 450s are? Oh no, you mean the slide? Not the slides. The
ones that look like Crocs.
The bougie Crocs.
Yeah, like bro, I don't care if you put a hump
The
over it.
Skeletors.
So like no.
I thought you were talking about the Yeezy dumplings because that's what they kind of look like.
Yeezy dumplings.
Oh, those. Oh man.
I was like, yo, let me wait and see how they look on your feet, and they look exactly how I thought they would look.
Bad.
Like sacks on your feet.
Yeah. Brian, if you had to make a choice between wearing a mid or a Croc, what would you do?
Oh man, Crocs.
Got a fake hug.
I would do Crocs.
Crocs,
man.
Oh man, Crocs over mids. All right.
Wow. Brian, what are you collecting?
You got to get that trending.
I started to get into the sports cards again.
Yeah.
And the feeling of actually opening up a pack of old sports cards that you bought from eBay like that.
With the gum still in it?
No, I haven't had that with the gum. But like there's a guy who sells old, like random, I don't know if he came across, like maybe somebody in his family collected cards, but he sells like old NBA hoop cards. And like for me, like I appreciate like I'm an NBA fan. So like I know every player. Yeah. And so like when I open up an old card pack, like it's exciting to me. So, but on top of that, like I also know that there's a way to capitalize on that. So for me, like if I find a card that I like I plan on like drawing it up and replicating it. But it's either cards or sports figures, like sports action figures.
Nice. So what decade are you like mostly opening up right now?
90s and early 2000s.
Okay. You're gonna drop Craig Elo at some point? I'm kidding. Josh, what are you collecting?
Well, I can typically only collect one thing at a time because it just becomes an obsession. But I used to collect baseball cards growing up. And my dad got me into that. So I have a bunch of old baseball cards. But just to demonstrate the addictiveness of collecting, I did fall prey to the whole Pokemon Go craze a few years back now. Where like I'd be like, hey babe, I'm gonna run out and grab some milk, and she's like, we got milk. What are you going out to get milk? I don't know. I just need to go grab something real quick.
We got 6.
There's a Venusaur right. So I'll be back.
Every day you come home with just a new thing of milk. You're like, I got the milk, honey.
Fully stocked. She's like, where you going? Pokemon again.
Those are easier than hide. They're easier to hide than sneakers showing up to your front door. I'll tell you that.
That's true. Did you see that meme? I don't know who put it out with the shush face. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Nice Kicks with like when the UPS driver shows up and you go to the door and you're just like,
bro, you know, there's an art. There's an art to, you know what I'm saying? Like letting your wife know that you bought a new pair of shoes.
There is. Yeah.
Oh, Brian, could you just tell us the art right now? I'm all ears, man.
Yeah.
You know what's messed up? I just told my wife, she was like, you didn't tell me that you guys are streaming this podcast on Apple. Now I can listen to it. And so now the one episode that you'll probably listen to
is this one. Get you in trouble.
Oh,
but this is Brian's last podcast.
No, what I used to do, I'm like, yeah, babe, I got these like a couple months back and they finally came. But now, like I would let her, like, I appreciate the fact that she has grown with me in my, you know what I'm saying? Like when I have an idea and I'll be like, yo, I always wanted to get these, and I go find them somewhere and I buy them, like, babe, I found these. This price was a good price. Or I do that, or I grab her something first and then I get me something. So I appreciate the fact that, you know what I'm saying? Like she's a sneakerhead like I am, and I have to teach her how to actually spend money on herself. You know what I'm saying? Because she's a selfless parent like I am. But at the same time, like I got to take care of her and then I take care of me, and then it evens it out. So
yeah, that's good.
Tell us how that works when you buy your first NFT, Top Shots, for $20,000.
I'm not buying any of that.
I got the best moment. It's this LaMelo Ball, his first layup.
Bro,
all right,
that's ridiculous.
Let's switch it up. Let's play a game. You guys down for a game?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
do it.
For this episode, we're gonna play this game that we're gonna call GOAT, as we know that GOAT stands for greatest of all time. I'm gonna throw out some phrases at you, and we're going to go around the horn, and you're going to give me the GOAT of that thing. Ready? So, Jerome, we'll start with you. Jordan 11. Go.
I'm going to say Space Jams.
Brian.
Man, Concords.
Josh.
I'm going to go Breads.
Concord for me. NBA dunker, Jerome.
Vince Carter.
Brian.
Vince.
Josh.
Too much agreement, Vince.
I'll change it up. I'll go Kemp.
Oh,
Sean Kemp.
wait, can you explain that?
That's a solid.
I need an explanation.
The violence. The
violence.
thunder. He's the
Yeah.
Rain Man. The
Howard
only
Duncan.
guy that could dunk over you and then you can't help but high five him, right? Chris Gatlin,
Violence.
right?
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
dunks, SB Dunk design. Jerome.
Ooh, what the dunks?
Brian.
I like the chunky donkeys.
Josh.
The pigeon dunks.
That was my answer
those are
too.
good.
Yeah.
Hold on, which pigeon ones? Like the original or
The originals.
The ones that started it all.
Yeah.
That's probably where the term hype beast came from, right? All right. Best dad with sneaker game. Jerome. That's not my answer. I'm just saying it's your turn.
But that could also qualify as the answer. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Efren,
It
you
wouldn't
didn't
be a
say
bad
your,
choice.
you didn't say your dunk though. You didn't say yours.
Oh no, it was definitely stable pigeon
Okay,
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Brian.
Best dad with sneaker game.
Yes.
Oh, I'll say LeBron, man.
Ooh. Okay.
When he's
Josh.
wearing- Wait,
Yeah.
LeBron wearing LeBrons or LeBron wearing Jordans?
No, LeBron doesn't just wear LeBrons. I've
Just
seen him
kidding,
in some
no.
Kobe's. I've seen him in some Air Maxes. I've seen him in,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like he's.
No.
I've
I'm
seen him
just
in. I've seen him in Reebok Questions.
Yeah.
He wasn't a dad then, but
All right.
Good answer.
Josh.
I'm gonna go Jason Sudeikis.
Ooh.
I just
That's a
feel like the
deep
guy's
cut.
always wearing something like fresh.
He is. He is.
And you're just like, no, he can't pull that off.
This is
I'm like,
very
okay,
true.
He just did.
Nice. I'm gonna go with Alois Abram. You guys know who this guy is, aka
About to-
Gramps,
let me Google
aka
that.
the streetwear grandpa.
Oh,
He's like
Yeah.
over 70 years old.
But do you think he
he's got-
knows what he's wearing?
his grandson helps him out?
His
his
grandson is a photographer, and it's like, let's put these in you, and you sit here,
Yeah,
and then we'll take a picture.
But you know what? If I'm his age, if I'm in my 70s and I have a drip at 100, I'm good. I'm good.
That makes sense.
All right. Best NBA defender. Can we talk about this real quick? Jerome.
Defender.
I'm gonna go with the glove,
Whew.
Mr. Gary Payton.
Brian.
Shoot, yeah, that's a good one. I still looked up to Tony Allen. Like when I was playing, I was like, yo, I want to play like Tony Allen. I don't care. Like he didn't score too much. I looked up to him from his stance, defensive stance, and he shut down Kobe every time. So he might be Gary Payton because Gary Payton couldn't shut down Jason Williams. He couldn't shut down Michael Jordan. He could talk to him, but he couldn't shut him down. So
True.
Tony
Nice.
Allen.
Josh.
Man, I was thinking Peyton, but I'm actually gonna go Michael Jordan. When that guy wanted to play defense, he locked people down. I'm telling you. He just had instincts, defensive instincts that guys didn't have.
Yeah.
It's true.
I'll switch it up. I'll go with a big man here. Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Defend the rim.
Yeah.
I'm just
All
glad
right.
no one said Patrick Beverly.
Yes. Or Draymond Green.
My son would have said both of those.
I think Kobe was a better defender than Michael Jordan.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
It is a
That's
hot take. He
He
was a
could
good
cheat.
defender as well. I feel
I don't
like
think-
both of those guys, their scoring prowess overshadowed their defense sometimes, where you don't even think about them as defenders.
Yeah.
True.
He was
Very
added
true.
to the USA basketball team for his defense. They didn't need his
Yeah.
offense.
But I don't think Michael Jordan can shut down LeBron like Kobe Bryant can shut down LeBron.
Like in the All-Star
Unless
game.
LeBron was scared of Kobe. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, I wish we could see that play out.
Right.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a meme, but it's on here, so I'm just gonna throw it out. Sneaker reselling site. Ooh,
Oh,
give me shivers just saying that. Jerome.
was it?
I'm gonna go with GOAT for customer service.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah. I'm gonna say eBay.
Okay.
Because of the
Ooh.
buyer protection, the levels of buyer protection, because they don't know any better. eBay.
Josh.
They are the OGs.
Yeah. I'm going with eBay as well because of the buyer protection, but also because of the fact that the fees there for buyers right now are non-existent. So,
But
yeah.
I've made more money on GOAT than I have on eBay off of one shoe. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go Poshmark. I'm kidding. I'll go I'll go. I'll go GOAT. As someone who's like, all right, so I'm not a reseller by any stretch of the imagination, and if I want to flip a sneaker, it's because I want to buy a different pair of sneakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not looking to make a profit. If I could break even, great. But they do make it easier for you to post stuff, which I like. So if you have a good rating on there, you don't have to go out of your way to post pictures, yada yada yada. We're not getting paid by GOAT anyway. So
I was gonna say, Efren, why do you have price tags on all the sneakers? Confused.
Hey, my tower hasn't collapsed yet, so I think we're doing good.
We've got a few minutes left.
Yeah, you got some spaces in the tower.
yeah. Best Air Max silhouette, Jerome.
Air Max 1, my all-time favorite.
Brian.
Air Max 97, man. If you get them true to size, you can wear them with no socks in the summertime. Not no shows.
Okay.
4 quarters.
I was gonna say,
like,
we're not gonna be friends anymore.
Yeah. No, I don't ruin my shoes like that. But
especially
Air
with
Max
the translucent
97s,
toe
man.
box.
Yeah, Air Max 97s are mad comfy for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's funny because I was actually gonna say like aesthetic is a 97 for me, but they're not that comfortable for me. For some reason, they've always like rubbed the back of my ankle, especially when you got low socks on. I don't know why. I get blisters from those guys, but they look fantastic.
Maybe you're getting the wrong ones, brother.
Maybe
you need the mesh inside and not leather, or I don't know. I don't know. There's so many. That's
Try
why
it without your socks on, Josh.
That's
the
Brian's
new Crocs.
secret.
The new Crocs. I'll go 97 just because I like the ripples. I don't own a pair, but if I were to get Air Maxes, I'll probably go that way.
It's all about your Achilles shape, I think. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Strange. Okay.
No idea. Think on that.
Best sneaker collab, Jerome.
I'm gonna say the Air Max Susan collab. The attention to detail to me was fantastic and spot on to the movie.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna just name one that I like right now, and that was the Jordan 23 with the Titan. I like the Jordan 23. I think it's different. I think there was some thought put into the materials, and people slept on it, which I love.
Josh.
I'm gonna go with my grail above all grails, the fragment ones, man.
I'm gonna go with MC Hammer and British Knights collab back in 1990.
Can't touch this.
Just based on the one fact that the guy got 138 million back in 1990, just for that. Best dad sneaker, Jerome.
I'll have to go with the Monarch for the culture.
Okay, it's a safe bet, Brian.
I think the Yeezy Wave Runner is a dad shoe. I think that is I'll call that a dad shoe. I'm not falling in line with that. So
yeah.
But for me, I'd go with the New Balance 754 in the gray colorway.
For me, it would be Crocs for sure, without a doubt. Now, speaking of dads, this dad sneaker thing got me thinking. And so in our minds, we would like to think that our kids think of us as the GOAT dad, right? So what is one thing that you do that your kids point out? Is it bad dad jokes all the time? You got a dad bod. You're out of touch. You're always out of cash at the perfect moment. What is it that makes you the GOAT dad? So Jerome.
I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but like my kids, they're still younger, so it's hard for them to articulate how they feel in those regards. The wife and I definitely have this thing where the new shoes and the new shoe smell, just having that, that aroma of, it sounds terrible when you put it that way because it's actually the sneaker glue. It's terrible. It's terrible, but that new smell and just being able to appreciate the shoe. So I know my son, he's only 1.5, and he will literally get shoes from dad, face lights up, and first thing he's doing, he's taking them out the box and giving them a sniff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Every single time.
And do you throw it all the way back? Like, do you give it the proper, like?
He's all the way back. He's tipped over a few times.
Brian.
Bro, I don't even know. Like, I think that Yeezys, like obtaining them, like getting them, like if they want a pair, like, all right, so my oldest, like he wanted a specific pair of Yeezys, and by the grace of God, I was able to hit somebody up and get him his pair. So for him, that would be it. But then as far as like the pairs of Yeezys that I can get for my wife, they for some reason that's like one of the best shoes that they enjoy seeing.
Jerome, you gotta know one thing about Brian. Whenever we ask him something negative, like, all right, what's one thing that the kids call you out for about being just like all the W's that I get, all these Yeezys that I end up getting. I get my wife Yeezys, I get my kids Yeezys. He doesn't know what a loss is. He doesn't understand like what it is to be just normal. So Brian, okay, we understand.
Bro, I had enough losses to be able to, you know what I'm saying, share the wins.
So. Yeah. You're like right now, you're Scrooge McDuck just swimming in those coins. Josh, go ahead.
Number one, Brian's got to write a book on reframing negative questions because he is just like an expert, man. He turns that into something like great every time.
Yeah. And it's always whenever we're playing it like a game.
Right.
Like, go.
The worst this. And he's like, well, actually the best. Like, but then he makes sense. It makes sense. And you're like, yeah, I totally agree.
Oh man, I think y'all.
Yeah.
Take it and sell it as an NFT. It's like
right. Last episode was brought to you by Ultra Boost. This one is brought to you by the Body Armor.
Oh, yo.
Hey,
good product placement.
Let me tell you this.
We almost made it through. We almost made it, guys.
Jerome, how many Ultra Boosts have you had? Like, how many Ultra Boosts are in your collection?
How many Ultra Boosts in my collection?
Yep.
0.
Boom.
What? So which would you have? NMDs or something like that?
It's over, Brian. That's it.
Yeah, I had NMDs, like the Japan pack. I had those. I had pretty much all the human races, CNYs, then the CNY 3.0. Like I had quite a few.
So that's the problem. And like that was the problem. Like that wide sponge NMD. Like, all right. So when I say the Ultra Boost, I'm talking about the running joints. Like Ultra Boost 19s, 20s, 21s. You know what I'm saying? Like them joints. You're welcome. Like, get you a pair of the 21s. That's a good place to start.
Oh man.
For comfortability, I like the Overreact. The Nike Overreacts. It's like walking on pillows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would hope so with the ginormous midsole.
Right, heel. Yeah.
Right.
But it looks like it does what it's supposed to do.
Brian, you've reached the end of the road. This is as far as it'll take.
I'm gonna keep it going.
They're not sending you a check right now. I mean, come on.
No.
I take full responsibility for bringing that up. So
thanks a lot.
My bad, guys. So what was the question, Efren? It was about being
one
a dad.
thing that the kids call you out on for being.
Being the
but
goat
in your
dad.
mind,
For me,
makes you the goat dad.
Yeah. So I'm gonna speak not from my kids' perspective, but my own opinion. What I think makes me the goat dad. It's definitely the ability to severely embarrass them in every situation on purpose.
Right.
You know, like, and I love Zoom calls
Yep.
at school now because I can just pop into the background and just like walk up over their shoulder and they get so like annoyed by that. Like they turn their screen off. They're like, I'm on a call right now. What are you doing? I'm in school. And I'm just like, I'm just sitting next to you. What's up? What are you studying? And they just get so angry. But I like to do it at the worst possible moment. And now that my kids are getting a little bit older, it's just a lot easier to get them all riled up. So
wow, that's beautiful.
It's a goat move.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
That is amazing. Yeah, and they're
fellow
always
dads
on the
understand.
Only dads understand. For me, it's like my kids have been so into Fortnite recently, and they forced me to play one round with them, and I absolutely sucked. Like it was bad, and I was just sitting there like, oh, it's laggy. It's just the lag.
Wow.
Our internet connection was fine. But yeah, and they always hold that against me. Like anytime that I had a serious conversation with them, they're always like, Dad, I could beat you in one round. You know, no scope, not a problem. I could beat you.
But you throw some GoldenEye up, they're not going to be able to hang, man.
Exactly. Throw some GoldenEye up, right?
GoldenEye, come on.
But they need to remember who is, getting them those V-Bucks at the end of the day. Right?
This is also true.
Bro, let me tell you something. Like the Fortnite, I played it when it first came out. It was a beta or whatever, and then the kids took over and it was the full game. And now my son is nice at it. So I was like, you know what, let me download this joint and play it for a little bit. And I was like, okay, I'm getting the hang of this joint, but you have people in there building and all that. So I was playing it, and then I actually won, and I'm excited, you know what I'm saying? And my level is lower or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is fun. This is tough. I am nice. So then my son comes down. He was like, "Yeah, they put bots in there, so like when you first play, you can win, and then you can get excited." I was like, "All right, man." So I had that experience where I was like, I tried to be cool with them, but like I got played in the end because I'm like, yo, I'm nice, but like, nah, they put easy bots in there to make you think that you're nice. So yeah,
Insert
man.
joke here, right?
Yeah. So keep playing. You'll get better, man.
Yeah. But I like that you had to throw in that you're really good at Fortnite. Again, going back to like how you turn the negative into a positive, Brian. All you do is win.
Hey, man. Hey.
Okay.
I see it now. I see
Yeah.
it.
Oh man, I'm oblivious to it. I appreciate it. Appreciate you pointing out.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. But just to point out, man, and speaking of wins, I do see some D Browns in the background. And I know that's Josh's one of his grails. So how did that actually come about, man?
Man, this is a huge W, and it wasn't easy. So if you listen to the podcast before, you know that the running joke we have is that when I wanted the original D Browns, I got an unsuitable replacement called the LA Gear Regulators, which were just like nothing like it, and just I got made fun of, honestly, for having them on. So the biggest thing I've been chasing for the last, what has it been, 30 years, whatever it's been, has been a pair of these D Browns. They re-retroed finally again, came out. I stayed up till midnight ready to get on Reebok, and then the site crashed, and then literally couldn't get anything. It was just the stupid pinwheel type of thing, and then the refresh, and then I got banned for hitting refresh because I'm a
You
bot.
got banned?
Which I'm a human, and I'm refreshing because your site isn't working, but now your spectacular anti-bot technology is determined that I am a robot, not a real person, which is another conversation for another podcast. But let me tell you, a friend of mine came through who happens to be on the podcast right now, Efren, and he had the patience to wait like 15 minutes until Reebok got their stuff together and got the site functional again. And he landed a pair. So the next day we talked. I didn't know. He was like, "Hey man, I got a pair." And he was like, "But I gotta get them to you, man. These are yours." And I was like, "No, I can't do that, man. Like I can't take another man's sneakers that way." And he just insisted so hard until he kind of like said, "Look, I'm giving them to you. You have no other option. You're getting them." And so he passed them along so I could get them in the collection. Still waiting to get them out in the wild. I just those white soles on them, man, they just pick up the dirt real fast, and my eyes don't want to see them get sullied, you know. So it's tough.
Sold it to him. Sold it to him for only 600. You know.
Yeah, it was pretty fair, honestly. But he said 12 at first. I said, "Let's go 6." He said, "Let's go." So
Nah, man, Efren had to get rid of him, man. It would be a breach of contract. He's sponsored by Jordan Brand and Nike. That's all he's got back there.
That's right.
So
I do have one pair of Yeezys, my friend.
one lonely pair.
Go.
Yeah, but really, Efren, I appreciate you, man. That was
absolutely.
That was an awesome thing to do, and you're a great friend, dude. So thanks.
And you know, being part of this, I feel like that's kind of like our goal. This is what this community is all about. So anything I could do to get that assist to you, you know, it's not a thing. So speaking of assists, Jerome with a big assist for this episode, return episode. Thank you again, Jerome, for spending your time chopping it up with us. You add so much value to this podcast, and we just thank you again for coming back. And we hope that this is, you know, a second time, but of many more to come, because we enjoy having you on. We appreciate your insight. And remind the DGK family where we could find you.
You can find me in West Philadelphia. Born in. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on.
You can find me on Instagram at 215shooter. Pretty much my main place of hanging out, or visit my website at 215shooter.com, and that's where I'll always be. And I appreciate you guys having me, and even, you know, taking the time to want to have me back.
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Yeah, we do have to
gotta make sure I get that 3-on-3 footage, man.
Oh my goodness. All right.
I don't know. We might have to bury that depending on.
It's gonna be a poop show. That's what it's gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
But bro, I do have to say, like, even in your reels, like, not only are the shoes to be desired, the cars that I've seen in them.
Yeah.
I like, I don't know if that Audi is yours or the Accord, all of that. Like, I was like, next paycheck, I might just drop something on that. But yeah,
I
man.
had to treat myself, man. I had to take
Yeah,
a break
yeah.
from the sneakers. I'm like, sneakers are
Yeah.
cool, but I'm like, I'm still dead, and dad has to treat himself to a nice will here and there.
Yeah.
So
Let's go.
The tread is a
Sneaker
little bit
break.
different on the sneakers than it is on the
Yeah.
wheels. Yeah.
oh yeah, definitely.
unless you're wearing Ultra Boosts.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
This is
Sneak-
true.
or
Get the
sneakers
Crocs,
that have
okay.
wheels in them.
That's
I
true.
don't know if that exists.
Heelys.
Oh, the Heelys.
Yeah, man.
As always, we can't thank you guys enough. Those of you who are listening, watching our podcast, subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching us there. Follow us on Instagram if you aren't doing so already. Check out dadsgotkicks.com. And until next time, peace.